The Library of Victorious Living, Volume 2, Evolution Series Number 2, The Sidereal Kingdom. Light, the Great Beginning. By Reverend Edwin J. Dingle, Ding Le Mei, founder of the Science of Mentalphysics. Light, the Great Beginning. This is the second of the 50 little books that will solve for you the whole riddle of your universe. If you have listened to or read the first little book, whose title is The Secret of Victorious Living, in its pages you will have seen that a foundation was laid leading up to convince the sincere ordinary person that A. There is nothing but God. B. That what God is, man is. I and my Father are one. And C. That any person of deep sincerity of purpose and of ordinary intelligence may learn the secrets of personal power and completely victorious living. The first little book reveals, so far as revelation can be given in words, life's greatest secret, something that everyone may learn if he will. If you have listened to that first little book, you will know that these messages are for sincere men and women who are searching for truth, for those who are capable of receiving basic knowledge of nature's laws, the laws of life, what men call God's law, the fundamental law in which all that is exists. You are aware, I'm sure, for if you're not ready in the philosophic sense, you would not now be listening to this, that you and I and all life forms exist. We live and move and have our being in this universal law. Many people know this truth intellectually, but rare is the person who lives consciously in this law. That is why so few people succeed and so many fail. When things go wrong, it is obviously because we do not live by the law, although we may intellectually know all about it. Wisdom is not common among human beings. Wisdom, indeed, is not seemingly attainable, yet it is the universal wisdom in which all life exists. It is within your reach, within mine, yet it is not readily recognized. Nor do the great majority of people, even knowing this truth intellectually, exert themselves in the slightest to do so. Many people absorb a mass of detailed information about things, about multitudinous phenomena, but the average person goes through life without finding how and where to discover even the truth of the nature of his own body, much less of the universal mind and wisdom in which, like a great ocean, he lives. Men know a great deal about various phases of universal law, such as the laws of breathing, breath is life, of eating, man does not live by bread alone, of sleeping and resting, yet few find peace. They know a great deal about the veritable miracles of their life, of thinking, breathing, seeing, speaking, imagining, reasoning, feeling, and 100 other miracles of actual creation. But through believing that they sincerely seek the ultimate truth of life, do not seem to be able to learn how to be the master of universal law. In short, how to come to know that they are God in human form. It is my purpose in this second little book to start you on your way if you desire with all your heart to learn the way. Now let us have a straight talk together. I assume that there is no doubt about your sincerity. Your desire to learn the way to victorious living from every point of view. These 50 little books are for that class of people. what they contain will have little appeal to the insincere seeker. Each little book is a lesson in itself, and it is designed primarily for people like you who are interested in actual rejuvenation of the body, real youth, youth being the true reflection of life itself, in success, doing what you wish to do, being more, doing more, having more, and the ultimate art of living. If you are interested more, for example, in strict material success, the making of money and gaining material wealth in spite of yourself, becoming a prosperous businessman or woman, becoming a great musician or a great writer or artist, these little books will be of great value to you. If you are interested in the true secrets of what appears to be your own mind, the laws of happiness, cheerfulness, health, beauty, joy, and peace, these little books will cause those secrets to be no longer secret or mysterious to you. If you are interested in the highest teaching accessible to man, the eternal secrets and mysteries of life itself, these little books will come to you as a great shining light in the darkness and negation which seems to hang like a pall over the whole human family in the prevailing conditions of the world. What I shall do for you, most noble seeker of the higher things, will be to uncover the principle, the one law that can be made to apply in the realization of any ambition. I must emphasize, however, that to gain success and mastery in no matter what you undertake, it is essential that the knowledge presented in these lessons, for that is what they are, must be so gradually absorbed as to irrevocably become a part of the new consciousness you are desiring to build. Therefore, be patient. Read and reread. You are to decide what are your own particular needs. It is you who must live your own life. You must do your own thinking. And you are at this moment the sum total of your own thought. All that I, as a teacher, can do is shed light upon your path. You yourself must tread the path. Now first, do you believe that you have the power to become whatever you desire to become and achieve whatever you wish to achieve? Well, you may say, I wish that were true. You may wish you could endorse what I am writing. You may wish you were no longer subject to paralyzing fears or inferiority feelings, no longer the slave but the master of all dreary moods. No longer have to watch others with no more real brains than you have get ahead of you in any respect. No longer have to watch your neighbors have the good things of life while you do without, and so on. If this is how you think, there is an urgent need for change, is there not? Well, I challenge you. Part 1. How life expresses itself through you. Why deny your loved ones the comforts and luxuries they deserve? Why deny them the greater influence and help which you can give them once you know your own powers? Why let anyone have a false impression of the intelligent and wonderful person you really are? Why not surround yourself with devoted and loyal friends, with you proud of them and them proud of you? Why not live a life of rare beauty, of glorious accomplishment, of rich reward, and superabundant vitality? Why not truly and finally find God? A. Is the power within you? Oh, I wish that were possible. What a wonderful thing that would be. But well, my friend, it is possible. You at all events desire such conditions. You see, do you not, that in universal wisdom alone, there exists the way, there exists the law. But the fact is that you do not know the law, nor how it works. Do you want to learn? Ask yourself, do you want to learn the way? Are you prepared to pay the price for the law to be revealed in all its power, that you may direct it in your life to become what you want to be and to achieve whatever you wish? If you do, then listen on. We will assume that you have the picture in your mind of this new you that you wish to create. It is obviously necessary for you to get a clear conviction that it is possible for you to grow young, to be health and strength and beauty and happiness, to achieve for yourself whatever you have set your mind upon. This appeals to your reason as a possibility, does it not? Then entertain the conviction, laugh, shout, sing, rejoice. You are about to begin your new journey. What then is the final process of living? How do you live? B. Life's orderly process. The final process of living is like this. First, you think. Second, you feel. And third, you act. Thinking, feeling, acting, or doing. Now, as you are listening to this, you may have set your mind upon this great achievement that you intend to carry out, and you hope that these little books and what they represent will lead you on into knowledge, which will show you how to do it. You must cultivate this feeling. Think of it every moment that you can. But you must not stop at mere thinking about it. You must be convinced that you can do it, for you must feel that you can do it. The difference between a mere intellectual conception of a fact and a deep spiritual realization of a fact are as far apart as the poles. You must be convinced. You know because you feel that it is possible to you. What you need to learn is the law by which it is attained. So this conviction must be firmly established in your mind. That, however, is not enough. This conviction is to pass out of your mentality into your feelings, so that not only do you feel that you know it to be a certainty, but you know that you feel it to be a certainty. Do you see the difference? You must know that you feel it. You are alive with the feeling of it. It is burning itself into your consciousness because your whole being is alive with the truth that you feel you will make of your life exactly what you want it to be. Get this clear in the mind. Without this conviction, unshakable, fully established, that you can grow young and be happy and healthy and successful, that you can live as long as you truly desire, to do what you truly desire to do and achieve whatever you desire to achieve. Without this conviction, it is not possible to proceed far. Pause a moment. Close your eyes. Declare out loud, I am the master of my own life. I will to do whatever I desire to do. Say it several times. I am the master of my own life, and I will to do whatever I desire to do. Now say it again with more feeling. Say it as if you know that you are the master of your life, for no one else is. Say it as if you feel that you know you are the master of your own life. I rejoice. I did not feel this before, but now I know it. I feel with all the power of my being that I am the master of my own life. And I will begin now to truly live it. See the process of thinking. Now think. Not only must the reason see and the consciousness feel the certainty, But the conviction is still to pass a stage further into the imagination. Dwell for a moment upon that word, imagination. The imagination is the creative faculty of you and me. It is this faculty that causes us to do all that we do and to be all that we are. Your own imagination is the creative faculty of the infinite faculty, which dwells within. None of us can do anything at all without the idea first coming to us through our own imaginative and creative faculty. I want you to know, however, that through the imagination is your own creative faculty, a part, so to speak, which belongs to you of the infinite creative faculty of that which men call God. You have to learn what to do with it, how to control it and direct it. For if you do not direct it, it directs you. But remember that the creative faculty will do for you whatever you direct it to do, whatever you train it to do. If you do not direct it, it directs you. It directs you according to the tradition of the common thought among man. Now you are a part of the collective consciousness. Of course you are. Well, accept its beliefs and traditions unquestioningly like a sheep in the flock, not finding out for yourself and doing your own thinking, then you cannot escape the results of those beliefs and traditions. This is for you to decide. D. Will you break away from tradition? All thinking men and women, and you are one, should refuse to accept collective consciousness beliefs. All people who have the power to think do refuse to accept beliefs simply because it has always been so. They think for themselves. I take it that you have enough courage not to accept, that you have no fear to break away from tradition. I was once so afraid that I might disturb the conventions. As a little boy, I tried to believe all that my elders told me, but I caught them red-handed on more than one occasion, offering me alibis when I asked them questions. It has always been done that way, they told me. Yes, and the fellow who had always driven a buggy probably told the Wright brothers that machines would never be able to fly. I wonder how many millions of people, following other millions of people, who held the same views, declared that iron would never float. Today we know that man has made machines that fly, for you can board a plane in New York tonight and get out to the broad Pacific tomorrow morning, and you have only to look at any modern steamer to know that iron floats. It was the imagination of man that caused these things, though they had never been done before. Now it is up to you to decide. It is up to you, and to me, and to every other original thinker, to reverse the tradition of the collective consciousness, enlisting the creative faculty to build life conditions, health conditions, success instead of failure, courage instead of fear, wealth instead of poverty. How? By the scientific direction of the very power of the sustainer and controller of the universe, coming to you through your imagination. E. Imagination and the reason. Nevertheless, you must be warned that no conflict must be allowed between the imagination and the reason. It may not have occurred to you that the reason and the imagination are totally different faculties in you. Your reason does not create. It cannot. Your imagination creates. That is all that it can and does do. Your reason reasons and makes decisions. That is all that it does, for its work ends there. Your imagination is that faculty within you that paints the pictures, that presents the images, that inspires you with most fascinating ideas of what you can do. But the imagination cannot reason. It is non-reasoning, and it is subject to the reason. Therefore, when the imagination, with the fascination of an unseen artist, creeps into your mind with all sorts of schemes and hopes and desires and pictures and images, and whispers to you that you can be a great man or woman, tells you that you can do something that has never been done before, tells you that you can do what you are doing much better than you are now doing it, tells you that you can be healthy and well and happy, that you can make more money, that you can become the greatest person that ever lived in your particular sphere of activity. And you listen, what happens? You are in a Brown study. You are thrilled. You see all this going on in your mind, and you are intensely happy. The things around you mean nothing to you while you are in that state of mind. You see yourself triumphant. You are the conqueror. You are the optimist. You are alive with hope. You are very happy. The world floats by, but there you are enjoying, in the serenity of your own mind, the marvels of achievement that this wonder worker is giving you. You feel that you can be well, that you can be more and do more. You can live as long as you desire. You can literally hear your imagination saying to you, you can be what you want to be, and you can do what you want to do. You come out of your Brown study and say, yes, I feel that I can be more than I am, but I know that I won't. All the beautiful work of the imagination goes for nothing. The I won't is an instruction to the imagination, confirming the collective consciousness thought to create negative conditions, unhappiness, doubt, fear, perhaps despair. And so your desires end in smoke. So it is in everything that you desire to do. This is the process through which you come into achievement, or the reverse. F. Remember, no conflict. Therefore, let there be no conflict in the mind between the reason and the imagination. First, examine carefully what the imagination brings to you. Let the reason endorse the idea. Cultivate the certain conviction of the possibility of doing it, of living as long as you desire to live, to grow young and happy and well, to make of your life an outstanding success, anything at all that your reason endorses. Second, then train the imagination to feast upon its delights. Rest and think. Do you believe that the age-old wisdom, that wisdom of the universal spirit of all life, can be made to work out in your life whatever you truly desire and whatever you can say with your reason you truly deserve? In this study, I emphasize the need of your building into your consciousness the irrevocable idea of life. You and I are life, and life never changes in principle. Therefore, I emphasize the need of building into your consciousness the belief that you and I should have the divine privilege of exercising our inherent power to live. As you go on further in these little books, you will be shown why men die and why men fail. The fact is that there is a power of life within you and me, which, when we fully understand it, we should be able to control, and it should render us immune from those conditions that cause disease, disharmony, and disbalance on all planes of existence. G. Reason must be convinced. Let the reason then be convinced that it is possible for you to live as long as you desire, that it is possible for you to achieve in your life whatever you have set your mind upon, no matter how fantastic it may now appear to you. Then let your imagination revel in the pleasure of its contemplation. Picture up in your mind a being, the real you, full of life and vigor, of energy, of hope and belief in the manifestation of divine power within you, of intense personal magnetism, which will enable you to direct human activities in line with your highest hopes. In short, a leader throbbing with power and attracting to yourself only that in unison with all good. Think of your real self. Imagine. When we uncover the I am, we come to know that truly, whatever the Creator is, I am. Therefore, you must not say, I want to live indefinitely, but I know that I won't. I will, but I can't. No, 1,000 times no. You must not say that you cannot make a fresh start. You must not say that you cannot do what you feel that you would like to do. You must not say that you lack anything whatever to keep you from being what you want to be. Believe that you can conquer, and that within you, though you may not yet know what it is, there is a power that causes the universe to be what it is. Be faithful to your own higher self. During the day, whenever your mind is at rest, think of the order of the universe. You are sincerely seeking a perfection which includes the fullest knowledge and service of the ideal and the fullest equipment for the service of the ideal. It will be revealed to you as you are worthy. First, do not talk much. Learn how to control the tongue. Later you will know what it means to have no tongue. In needless speech, we waste much energy. Second, hold the things that you are learning in your mind every moment that you can do so. Third, remember that success depends upon knowledge. They are interlinked. Knowledge is yours as you work for it. It is an upward process, which coincides with every movement in nature. Everything in nature struggles upward, so do you and I. The more we know, the greater our power. After the nebula comes the orb, then the mineral, then the plant, then the animal. After the animal, the man, at the apex of nature. The evolution of nature is followed by the progress of humanity. All in life is order. You live in order. I live in order. And these little books we shall, if we will, learn what this cosmic order is and how we may order our individual lives into complete victory. Your life has been an upward journey from the lowest in consciousness, possibly, to what you are now. You are on your way. If I were you, I would stop listening for a moment here and rest. Just sit quietly with your eyes closed and declare to yourself, I am now developing creative wisdom through my imagination. I am a channel of creative wisdom. Creative wisdom is the light of my mind. I am free from all negation. What you are doing may not be clear to you. If it is, you will not need me to explain. If it is not clear, you will benefit. Do it every day, once when you rise in the morning and once before you go to sleep. Then watch for results. Part 2. Further explanation of the evolutionary principle. From the foregoing, you are able to see a little more clearly, I hope, how we are all fully equipped to enter upon the solution of what may seem to be the riddle of the universe. From the foregoing, you are able to see a little more clearly, I hope, how we are all fully equipped to enter upon the solution of what seems to be the riddle of the universe. How we are equipped to come into full understanding of the secrets of victorious living. In the first of the 50 little books, I dealt with God's first cycle of expression, which is called the Ethereal Kingdom. In what you may visualize as the great beginning, all was still. The Ethereal Kingdom. In the second little book, we are to go one step further and consider the Sidereal Kingdom, God's second cycle of expression. With the knowledge of the 7 ascending kingdoms, we inform ourselves of the manner in which, figuratively speaking, God's universe is made and sustained. You have but to think for a single moment to see that particular department or realm of God's creation that you call the animal kingdom is different from what is called the mineral or the vegetable kingdom. You see the difference between the ethereal kingdom, all still, unmoving, dark, and the sidereal kingdom, the kingdom of light, with which we are now to deal. Our first 7 little books deal with the full expression of God, dividing the whole creation into 7 different steps or interlocking kingdoms which make up the great whole of God. As man is made in the image, as I and my Father are one and the same thing, as whatever the Creator is, I am. You can see that, A, what seems to be your life and what seems to be my life is precisely and identically the one eternal law that keeps all the universe sustained in all its kingdoms. B, the one eternal law underlies and propels into being and order everything in the whole of the 7 different kingdoms. You are in the human kingdom. You live in this one law. You and I are the whole of the law in all the kingdoms. You and I are what God is. H. I am the one principle. This is true, is it not? You and I are the one principle embodied. Whatever God is, the principle, the law, the truth, the all, I am. I am what God is. Thus I trust that you will, intellectually at all events, be able to comprehend the truth that all the principles of all the kingdoms exist within you, because you are what God is. The all in all is. I hope that is clear. At once, then, let us agree that all the principles of the sidereal kingdom exist in you. What is the sidereal kingdom? In a word, of course, it is the kingdom of light, the answer to God's command, let there be light. In the sidereal kingdom rests the one light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world. The dictionary definition is sidereal, pertaining to the stars, starry, measured or marked by the apparent motions of the stars, as sidereal time. Sidereal day is the time in which the earth makes a complete revolution on its axis, in respect of the fixed stars, being 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4.092 seconds. Sidereal system is the general system of stars of which the solar system is a member. Such a definition of sidereal does not help us much, however, unless we can understand the inner meaning of the inner essence of God's universe, of which the heavens are but a symbol. In our inner mental physics teaching, the sidereal kingdom is the kingdom of God's immortal light of wisdom. the originating home of the spirit in which we make our debut, so to say, into life expression. According to the light, so is wisdom. The royal secret of your life and of mine is the complete surrender of ourselves into this self-creating kingdom of light. That is the secret of secrets. I emphasize the word surrender, for just as man cannot manufacture electricity, which is light, and must obey its laws if he wishes to remain intact, so when we let ourselves go, surrender, relax into the sidereal kingdom, we find that its light shines of itself. I repeat, this is the profoundest of secrets, and its light shines by its own law. You see, the ethereal kingdom is its first birth. I, man, the connective link. Man is the connecting link between the lower kingdoms and the higher. You are the connective link between the corporeal and the spiritual universe, which means that you have within you the essence of all nature and supernature. Being composed of body and soul, man is, on the one side of his nature, a corporeal thing, and of course, as such, is influenced by everything of the earth. He is also a spiritual thing, with a spiritual nature that has to be developed to comprehend its, God's, nature within itself. So we can see that man actually is composed of the nature of all the varying kingdoms. Of course, as philosophers, we divide the cosmos into its 7 divisions merely to emphasize the oneness of life. Of the whole creation, there is but one, which is God. Dealing as we are now with the sidereal kingdom, we see that this kingdom is the kingdom of light and action and birth and development, just as we have seen that the ethereal kingdom is the kingdom of silence and stillness. Light is the one substance of the sidereal kingdom. I, man, the connective link. Man is the connecting link between the lower kingdoms and the higher. You are the connective link between the corporeal and the spiritual universe, which means that you have within you the essence of all nature and supernature. Being composed of body and soul, man is, on the one side of his nature, a corporeal thing, and of course, as such, is influenced by everything of the earth. He is also a spiritual being, with a spiritual nature that has to be developed to comprehend its, God's, nature within itself. So we can see that man actually is composed of the nature of all the varying kingdoms. Of course, as philosophers, we divide the cosmos into its 7 divisions merely to emphasize the oneness of life. Of the whole creation, there is but one, which is God. Dealing as we are now with the sidereal kingdom, we see that this kingdom is the kingdom of light and action and birth and development, just as we have seen that the ethereal kingdom is the kingdom of silence and stillness. Light is the one substance of the sidereal kingdom. Now, my friend, this subject is very deep. It obviously cannot be clearly understood by those who have not yet habituated themselves to profound and original reflection. Human life is merely a battle between darkness and light. Light is the whole of God's nature, for all creation is the result of action in light. God, through light, is continually descending, so to speak, to the aid of the human seeker battling with darkness. falsehood, limitation, negation, error, and misunderstanding of his own making. Man, the human soul, God in man, is continually seeking divine knowledge. He is on the path to divine knowledge and cannot escape it. Hence the battle. The ancient scientists have always declared that to win this battle and to attain divine knowledge, man needs a sure method by which he may achieve it. They declare that through centuries and centuries of practice and self-examination, that method or way has been finally uncovered. They declare that this method or way is faultless and that it cannot fail to lead man to God. More, that consequently, the way is sure to lead man to the understanding, A, that there is nothing but God, and that God is all, and B, that man is God in human form. J, how man lives in unity of wisdom. The ancient scientists declare, moreover, that when once the aspirant has sincerely begun, he cannot ever again step back completely into the darkness and misunderstanding from which he has partially escaped. He may then claim to be on the path, his way made clear by the light, no matter how slightly or feebly that has been kindled within him. The principles of this method or this way have been handed down, usually by word of mouth, during thousands of years, and will never be lost to mankind. The way demands practices that cannot appeal to any man who deliberately keeps himself in darkness through self-conceit, in other words, who keeps himself anchored to the subhuman kingdoms. The way demands sincerity of heart and integrity of intention. That way, my beloved, and we say it in true humility and gratitude, is what mental physics is. Are there no other paths within the way? Obviously there are. There is but one truth, many ways to reach it, according to the position we stand in on our way to the eternal light. Just as there may be many pathways to the summit of the mountain man must climb, some narrow, some wider, so mental physics is a tried and tested pathway leading finally to man's emancipation from darkness, disease, disharmony, despair, and disbelief into God's eternal way by God's eternal light. The Sidereal Kingdom is the symbol of God's eternal light in man. It is so deep a secret that it cannot be told. It must be learned, and each must learn it for himself. The disbalances, disorders, disharmonies, and discontent we see in the world today are not due to cosmic causes. They are due to man's ignorance of and non-adherence to cosmic principles. Man understands in light. The Sidereal Kingdom is a symbol of man's understanding of God's principles. Your highest aspirations, hopes, longings, intentions, desires, and inspirations come to you then, we must say, direct from the realm of the Sidereal Kingdom within you. God's kingdom of light is eternally resident within your consciousness, as you are eternally and unchangeably living in it. God's light, of course, is wisdom. Wisdom and action are the two wings to the soul's ascent to God's divinity. When you and I can live in the unity of wisdom, self-knowledge, and right action, doing God's will, we shall no longer be enslaved to nature and the gross terrestrial things and affairs. K. Man becomes a specialist in wisdom. Wherever you look today in human affairs on this earth, you find that the greatest success comes from specialization. No country on this planet is so renowned for, and no people have developed mass production as we have. That was the result of specialization. In great factories today, men and women do not, or should not, wander around from pillar to post doing what and going where their fancy takes them. They are placed in certain positions as specialists of the thing that they have to do. And while making that particular thing, it does not by any means follow that they know much about the whole machine of which the thing that they make is a vital part. A man may have a plant in any particular industry or trade that will deal generally with everything, but he rarely succeeds. If he scraps that sort of plant and lays in a plant with which he can specialize, he usually makes a fortune. He succeeds. The ancient scientists tell us that life is an art, that life is never what it seems to be, that life as we understand it is a pathway, that we should always be wise enough to keep on the path, using the wisdom within us to keep on the path. In other words, we must be specialists. They warn us that no matter how clever we may feel that we are, no matter how much we may feel that we know, if we merely go around in circles, though the going around in circles may satisfy us merely as human beings, they say, in effect, that rightly to live we must become specialists in living. They further say that what is called God has built the universe, and that the book of life is so clearly made up that anyone may read it. So God even is a specialist. God has made, created, if you wish, the universe as a specialized entity. Each of its parts is perfect as the Father, the whole, is perfect. Of that there can be no doubt. It is obvious to us, however, that an ant is different from a human being. Many people have said that the human being can learn a lot from the ant. But as you view creation, the universe, or whatever word you care to give to God's works, you can see that there are great divergent boundaries. There are distinct divisions. Yet everything is entirely interlocking and interdependent upon all else. I'm sure you can see that. L. All subhuman kingdoms are symbolical. If then the ancients be right when they say that this material universe has been made for the sole purpose of forming itself into a symbol of wisdom for all ascending units of creation, then we can see as human beings, blessed with the power to think, to reason, to compare, to analyze, we then can see that everything below the point that we have already arrived at is for us evermore quite inconsequential. The subhuman kingdoms and all that is in them are of no value to us other than to teach us through their symbolic nature more what we are. It is extremely merciful that we do not need to know everything about anything to enjoy its benefits. I am speaking to you and you are listening. We both are breathing. You are fairly well assured that what I am saying is the result of the light of me. As you are listening, what I am saying appeals to you as right or wrong, as wise or unwise, through the light of you. You sit there, I sit here. The fundamental process by which I speak and we both reason is through our breath. Our reason is the result of the light that is in us. The light that is in us is propelled, made clear by the breath of us, the breath which fans the light of the ever-moving divine wisdom of life. The universe is one majestic, eternal thinking thing, ordered by the great mathematical mind of life, which men call God, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. But of course, as you have surmised, what I am writing to you about is a great science. It has to be learned. Happy is the man who finds his teacher. Wise are you who listen if you cultivate to the utmost the shoots of goodness within you, for from these shoots you may expect an abundant harvest. If your action is sincere, your life may become brilliantly transformed, affecting others for good. But you, yourself, must do it. Each of us has to face the sun. Too much light looks like darkness. When I was a little boy, and I can see myself now, short pants, dirty hands and face, coming in as hungry as a hunter. And my grandmother would say, "Son, blow the fire and we will soon have the kettle boiling." "But Granny, the fire is out. It is dead." No, just sit down and take the bellows and blow." I would obey her, but I was sure the fire was dead. And, oh dear, I am so hungry. How long must I wait until I get something to eat? While thinking like this, I blew the fire, but I had no faith that it would come to life. Then suddenly there was just a little spark. Then dead again, and then another little spark, and then another and another. Then a small flame, and in a minute or two the flames rose around the kettle, and it soon began to sing, and in no time we had fire, heat, and light. We are all quick to learn if we apply ourselves. Wise is he who learns. But if the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Remember that God's light in you shines of itself if you will let it. You remember perhaps the story of the shipwrecked mariners down in the mouth of the Amazon. Their ship had foundered, and 5 or 6 of the sailors manned a boat. They could take with them only a small amount of water, and in the tropical weather down there, they simply did not know what to do. Their thirst quickly compelled them to drink up all their water, and they nearly perished with thirst. Then far away, they saw smoke. It was a steamer. Feverishly, they took off their clothes and tied them to a bamboo, waving this signal back and forth. "They see us! They see us!" "They do not see us." "Yes, they see us." "No, they do not." And then finally the steamer triumphantly veered around, and it was clear that the shipwrecked crew had been seen. Very soon the vessel was alongside, but by this time the sailors had used so much of their energy that they were lying prostrate on their backs, exhausted, almost expiring. When the steamer came alongside, they only had enough energy to call up to the men on deck and say, "Give us water, give us water." And the sailors replied roughly, "Dip down and get it." They had been in fresh water all the time, but didn't know it. Man is in light. It is his life, but he does not know it. Conclusion. We have seen, my dear listener, that the Sidereal Kingdom emerges out of the Ethereal Kingdom. And as we go along further in these little books, we shall see how the universe is made and sustained in the evolutionary law of God. We shall see how the immutable laws of the outer universe in the macrocosm are final. We shall also see that these macrocosmic laws are identical in the microcosm, in you and me. Burke wrote, "He who profits of a superior understanding raises his powers to a level with the height of the superior understanding he units with." This is a universal law. You are never alone. You may always reach out, always find exactly what you seek. If you learn the way to seek, you may always reach out, always find exactly what you seek. If you learn the way to seek, remember too that you discover great and abiding laws of life through the understanding of apparently insignificant and trivial things. That is how you are rewarded for your sincerity in your search. And, my unknown friend, if you are downcast in any way, begin to learn how to seek. You are not alone, and never can be. Colton wrote, "He that has no resources of mind is more to be pitied than he who is in want of necessaries for the body. And to be obliged to beg our daily happiness from others bespeaks a more lamentable poverty than that of him who begs for his daily bread." You may learn much from this and the other little books. In all your striving and seeking and running to and fro, just listen. You may think that you can hear my voice in these pages, but it is not my voice that you hear. It is your own divine voice that speaks. Yes, it is I who sit within you that you hear. I always await my opportunity to speak, for it is I who directs your thought, your feelings, your actions, and all your ways. It is I who have been with you always, through all your joys and heartaches, your successes and achievements, also your mistakes. It is I who have been with you through all your evil doing, your backsliding, your wanton ways, your crimes against your brother and against God. No matter where you went, onward, backward, upward, downward, straying helplessly from the path you knew you should have trod, it was I who brought you through, and I shall continue to stand by and show you how to do all the things you wish to do, for your own eternal growth or even for your own undoing. I am your innermost one. I am the cause of your being and the root of all that you are. I am infinite. The universe is my body. I am all intelligence, all love, all power, all that there is. I am you. I am the dweller in you. You know me, and sometimes incline yourself to listen to what I say. The sidereal kingdom of light that you see outside yourself in its every phase and factor of expression is identically within you. Its light is wisdom, which comes to you A, in the light of your senses, B, in the light of your reason, and C, in the light of what you know to be that spiritual something that you call God. And I am that, within you. Like a great ocean, I surround you, I live in you, and you live in me. And my only substance is wisdom, your complete life, health, success, freedom, peace, joy, love, beauty, and every word that you may conjure up to portray any condition of your mind is wisdom, which is my light within you. The outer expression of your life is the measure of how you desire to use my wisdom and my light. That is all, and it's very simple. It is very easy to learn about the outer universe. Not so easy for you to learn about me and my inner universe within you. Your doubts and fears and anxieties and worries are but the reflection of your personality. They come not from me. If you allow them to rule, it is you who gives them power. And their rule in your life can only lead to your unhappiness, failure, and disappointment. As you contemplate at this moment, it is not to these things that you give ear. You are listening to me, who is your own eternal self. Today again I speak that you may hear. If you do not listen, I shall not forsake you, but shall continue to live with you and protect you from your own individuality. But remember, there is nothing, absolutely nothing of you that is not a part of me. I am your one infinite reality. Listen to me as you listen to this little book. Seek me within thyself. Learn how to seek. Then shall you awaken to me forever within thyself. This volume, Light, the Great Beginning, is the second of the 50 little books that make up the Library of Victorious Living and deals with A, God's cycle of expression, and B, man's evolutionary way in God's universal plan. The third volume is an inspiring story of the mystery of the life-giving principle, dealing with the importance in evolution of the mineral kingdom, God's third cycle of expression. You are shown the silent and mysterious principle of all life. Nowhere more entrancing than in the mineral kingdom. Click the link below to listen to the third volume. The 50 little books are written by Edwin J. Dingle, Ding Le Mei, voiceover by Jody Curtis. Thanks for listening.